Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I hope it's light enough here for you and that the rain is not too loud. I wanted to do a video just talking about the mindset of hobby farm versus a homestead. And I do believe there's a difference. I do believe that what we are doing personally in my life here, I would not call a hobby farm at all, and I'm going to get into kind of why. So this isn't really in response to any particular, comment made by anyone or things like that. I have heard kind of the phrase hobby farm used in the past, and probably the time that it stuck out most to me was actually last year. I was kind of explaining what we were up to as a family to a man, and he said, "Oh, you got a nice little hobby farm there." And that man was actually my paternal grandpa. He's no longer with us. He passed last year, but we did get to spend a couple moments with him before that, which was really a blessing. And it kind of stuck out to me because a lot of times, especially for my grandpa, farming was a way to make a living. He had his farm with the purpose of making money. He had a number of things that he would do, but that was kind of, a farm was a business for him. To me, what I'm accomplishing here is trying to drop the cost of living, just to need less money. I think a lot of times a hobby farm is somebody kind of has their job and they do that, and then their spare time they kind of like to, have some hobby farm type stuff, whatever fits into that. The reason that I shy away from calling what we're doing a hobby farm is that this is not a hobby. This is a life, and it's a lifestyle. There are things that we do for fun, there are hobbies we have, but really I'm trying to provide a real life for my family, an opportunity for them to be connected to the real world, to gain real life skills, to know how to feed themselves. A lot of it, like I said, is trying to drop the cost of living. I don't work a full-time job. I work a job where if I need money, I go do some stuff, and if I don't need money, I stay home. Back before all this stuff happened, with the current state of the world, back in January, I worked 5 days. I didn't need that much stuff, so I just pretty much sat around, busted my butt at home, but I sat around with my family. I was able to invest in their life, and since Mama Pepper is a homemaker, and since our children are homeschooled, we were able to, just do all that together, and that was a blessing.
I had a number of things happen, and picking this back up the next morning, but I'm not exactly mincing words over a farm versus a homestead, although I think that you could draw a distinction there as well. But what I'm considering is more the difference between a life or a lifestyle of being a provider, being a producer, where your land is producing something rather than just being a consumer. And there's a hedge of protection in just even the potential of success in things like eating. When you are an actual, you have food security as opposed to just being a consumer and dependent upon others for things as simple as you probably need to eat today or tomorrow. That's going to be a good idea. That's kind of the world we live in. If I think about 2 nights ago, we canned up a bunch of those chickens that we had over there with Jeff and Monica and stuff like that. We made some jars of chicken breast. We've got, I think, 12 jars of those. We ate some of the chicken breast. Pretty much, we got a jar off of each one of those chickens. That's pretty good. We enjoyed that. I mean, there was still a lot of other things that we were able to use, the wings and the thighs and the drumsticks, but we also sat there. I was up till 2 in the morning. I guess Mama Pepper stayed up till 6 in the morning the other night. Okay, we made 21 jars of broth. So chicken broth. We used the feet in here. We used the carcasses. We still have some more feet and stuff like that. I used the necks. Made 21 quart jars of chicken broth. We're doing that for a reason. We want a trustworthy food supply. We want to be able to make sure that we're not poisoning our bodies. Make sure that we're I don't know, not poisoning our children's bodies. We want to make sure to be able to have a real food supply and be able to enjoy it on a much deeper level than who knows where it came from, who knows if it really is what it says it is, who knows what else is in there sitting on the shelf at the store. It's just kind of where we are. And then also started with the mosaic long beans and the noodle beans, pickling a bunch of them. You know, I was doing a bunch of these the other day in a hot water bath. They're very tasty. So kind of use it as an example. We don't sit there for hours with a hot water bath, pressure canner, up till a couple hours in the morning as some sort of hobby. We have a drive, we have a desire, we have a purpose. It's for our life. And it's not just something fun we do on the side. It's what we do with our life. It's what we do, you know, to live a life, I think, an intentional life with wisdom. I'm going to get into something else in an upcoming video that'll overlap with this. But that's kind of just one of the reasons why a hobby, I don't think really fits. And hobby farm, maybe it's kind of a frame of reference that some people have to go to. And I mean, even with my grandpa, I mean, he was 80 something when he died. But he came from, you know, a day and an age where there was a time pretty much everyone you knew had a garden. You know, everyone you knew had chickens. So to be reverting to that sort of thing at this day and age is a little different than when it was just commonplace. I think anyway. Also, I'm just going to roll a little bit of footage of my day yesterday. It involved a number of things. It involved getting some mulch, getting some free pallets, I picked up groceries while I was in town, getting some rebar for my garden, and then sitting there in between other activities and doing a whole bunch of stuff with my family in the rain, unloading that. And, you know, working hard. We're not just playing around out in the rain. We can do that. We can run puddle jump and run around, frolic in the rain, enjoy those type of things together as a family. But we were doing it for a purpose. There's a reason. I want to be having rich soil. I want to be feeding my plants that I'm going to be feeding my body with what they produce. I'll roll some of that footage and then close this thing out when I'm done with that.
So this here is just an example of me, you know, not doing this stuff for fun. It's more of a serious life than some sort of hobby. I did get that mulch. Rather than waiting around a half hour for somebody to load me, it took me about 15 minutes and I loaded it up myself with that pitchfork. So by the time I was done with that and done unloading all my recycling at the place, people were just starting to get loaded. That's fine with me. I don't mind putting in the effort to get her done. Got some free pallets I'll be using stuff for too, but then also got these guys. So I got 20 more rebar. I got to replace 6 for the roof of my root cellar build, but then these other 14 are actually going to be heading out into the garden. So right now my plan is to take a couple of my volunteer children who are caught up on chores and schooling right now. We're going to go weed some of the garden we got, add a layer of compost to it, and yeah, just kind of fill in all the raised beds and whatever we got, starting at the beginning, working our way in the rain, and then start playing with some rebar up in my garden. What do you got, boy?
Broadhead skink, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it could be a female broadhead skink. Let's check her out. Beautiful creature, huh?
Yeah!
What do you think, Bugger?
It's funny.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's a good find. Thank you, son. he's got a 20-foot rebar. The 3-year-old is taking 20-foot rebar, 3/4 inch, and putting it back over there with that project. That's awesome. Thank you, son. Are you ready? Bugger, where are you? Come quick, see. Come quick, see. Are you ready? Get down here.
It's a skink.
Yo, guys, hold on, don't touch him. It's a baby eastern fence lizard. Look at that guy. Look at how cute. Oh, he's in your shirt. He's in your shirt. So that there is actually between my quail barn, between our rabbits. That's why I shut down the video and picked it up again the next morning. You'll have to wait and see what that's all about in an upcoming video. But here's kind of what things look like after the fact. I just kind of started at the entry point to my garden drive-through. Made sure everything got weeded here and then planted. So we have a good amount of topsoil here. It's looking good. We definitely like it. See across here. This one kind of finally got filled. I got some more I'm going to put up with it, but it's doing good. It's getting bigger. It's getting deeper. This one got mulched. And I just like taking that free compost that they have and just top dressing my beds with it. Here's one. And something's coming out here. See that? We lost one of the kids' popcorn. Somebody ticked over that plant last night or this morning early and ripped it down. That's sad. I don't like seeing that. But planted some pepper seedlings we had hanging out forever. Not ideal. I don't know why that's not so flat. There you go. But then this one, and eventually we'll finish. And then top dress some of this hugel mound. Added some to that. And got another part. A couple ones that needed stuff up in the garden. So, you know, all this work, all this investment, all this gardening, you know. I had a friend in Wisconsin once say, wow, you must really like gardening, huh? And I looked at him and I just said, I like to eat. You know, to me, that was the frame of reference I had. I like to eat. If I didn't eat, I probably wouldn't bother with a lot of it. But I do eat. And when I think about the children too, you know, they eat. So I want to be able to be doing the things that we do. I don't care if it's a lot of work. It will give us an ROI for years and years and years to come, especially when we start saving our own seeds and things like that we're up to. So I don't know. I know some people agree with what I'm sharing here. I know some people probably won't really have a frame of reference themselves, but I just kind of wanted to personally share some of my thoughts on the difference of being what I would call a homesteader these days versus just kind of having a hobby farm. There is a level of prepping that comes into it. There is just a level of wisdom, I believe, especially now. I hope people can realize that. I hope people are waking up to that. I hope people are doing what they feel led to do and actually considering some things. So hopefully that helps and blesses some of you guys. Anyway, a little more in depth to what's going on up here. I'll see you guys next time. Bobo out.